Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk through my most worn items of 2020. I feel like I do one of these videos every single year and it's always interesting to look back and see what I actually got the most wear out of as opposed to what I think I got the most wear out of. So I have used my Excel spreadsheet to actually get a very concise read. I've got all the numbers of times that I've worn all of these items as well. I am filming this just before Christmas, so this may go up in that period just after Christmas or in the early New Year. So either way, I hope that you have been making the most of the festive season, whether you have been able to spend it with your loved ones or if you have, perhaps been in a less than ideal situation. I do hope that you have been finding the silver lining in it, or at least making the most of this time that we have off as we head into a new year and hopefully more positive beginnings. So I'm going to just dive straight into it with the first item, which is my most worn top. And I kind of thought, do I do top, blouse, t-shirt? Do I do all of the three? I actually decided to just do one top, and it is my Everlane Pima Cotton Micro Rib or Pima Micro Rib Stretch Tank, which hopefully is not too blown out on camera. I wore this a grand total of 15 times over the course of the year. I know that's probably not going to sound like a lot, especially for someone who has a capsule wardrobe, but I do have a bit of variety in my closet and I'm going to be doing a wardrobe tour in 2021, so you'll get a little bit of a peek at that. But I found that this was just an excellent layering piece, and I actually only counted the number of times I wore my white one. I have it in a grey and in a black, so if I put those in with this, it would be a lot more. I just find that these are, as I said, excellent layering pieces, but also great to be worn on their own as well. I recently wore my black one with some wide leg black jeans, and I just loved the silhouette and what it added to my outfit. But yeah, they wear and wash incredibly well, just really nice and soft as well. I wear them in the extra small to have a kind of close cut or slim fit against the body. Next, I want to talk about my most worn dress, which actually, when I was looking at the numbers, I thought there's no way that's right. And then I realized I wore this a lot while I was pregnant at the start of the year. And this is my Mademoiselle cotton poplin tiered dress in the black. If you have been watching sort of some of my recent videos, then you'll know that I decided to invest in the backless style and the coffee blossom print as well, which I just thought was very pretty. I love this dress because it is so easy to throw on. You don't really need to think about it. I wore it a total of 12 times. I did find it really difficult to actually wear while I was breastfeeding at the start. I'm not sure if that's TMI, but if you are a new mum or you've had a child, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But it sort of meant that I had to, I suppose, put it on hiatus for a little bit of the year. But now that we have warmer weather and I do feel comfortable wearing this sort of style again, even braless, I know this is something I'm going to be reaching for a lot more, as it's just such an easy throw-on piece and a great layering option too. So if it is a little bit cooler, I could put a long sleeve top or a short sleeve t-shirt and a little jacket over, and I feel really great in this. So yeah, love it. There are loads of alternatives to this, so I might link some more affordable options down below because this does come with a more premium price tag. My most worn trouser were a pair of linen pants. These ones are from Assembly Label, and I purchased these while I was pregnant. I got them towards the start of my pregnancy, and I'm so glad that I purchased them. Essentially what I was on the hunt for was a pair of trousers which reminded me a lot of, or had a similar silhouette to, Karen Walker's boat pant, which she typically does in a silk. And I'm not sure whether they're still releasing that particular style, but when I was purchasing a lot of Karen Walker, it was one of her core styles essentially. So elasticated waistband, a loose fit through the hip and thigh, and then a tapered fit through to the ankle and a cropped length. That's exactly what I was after, and these delivered, and I just really like them. I like the fact that they are really nice soft wash linen. They don't get too crinkly either actually, which is one of the benefits of these. The linen can get quite crease, though the more you wear it, the more it softens up. They launder really well too. I'm not sure whether the fabric has faded slightly, however I do really like that washed out look when it comes to black linens. On a note on sizing, I will say they do come up a full size big. I've got mine in the AU8 and they definitely fit more like a 10, however I personally don't mind because I feel like I can wear them worn up on my waist, tighten them a little bit, or I can wear them slightly lower if I wish. And also they were a great post-pregnancy trouser because they were not not too tight anywhere. They fit me really nicely, really loose. So that was something I wore a lot just after I gave birth. And actually the trouser that I ended up wearing the most was a track pant, but I thought I would show you an actual pant. The ones that I wore the most were the Lego Heritage joggers. I will leave those linked down in the description box below, actually, in case you are expecting or you just want something very comfortable, because they are incredible loungewear. Most worn jeans came from Madewell, and this was a pair that was actually gifted to me, I want to say around April time. And I have just loved having these in my wardrobe. They're really nice blue wash actually, and they've got this faded wash through the leg. The hems are slightly distressed or destroyed, however they're still intact, so they don't look too messy or too disheveled. Sorry about the lighting, it's very cloudy at the moment. These have a 10-inch rise, which I think is really flattering, and actually I really like it. They're called the skinny crop, and I have them in the size 25. I wore these a total of 28 times over the course of the year after getting them, which is quite a lot for a pair of jeans, considering I do have a rather healthy stash in my denim drawer. But they're really comfortable, and actually, I mean, I definitely want to invest in more Madewell denim in the future. It has turned out to be one of my favorite sort of discoveries of the year. My most worn shorts are from Arket, and one thing that I found actually, especially after I had a baby, my body has changed a little bit, is that my favorite denim shorts, which from Dr. Denim, no longer fit me quite the way they used to, and they aren't as comfortable to wear. The denim on them is very rigid, as is with these, but there's a bit of a difference. And they are a little bit slimmer cut through the legs, so they kind of hug your body a bit more, and I find that they're not the most convenient for me to wear when I'm crawling around with my son. So I found that when it came to shorts, I actually ended up reaching for these Arket ones the most. I wore them a total of 11 times. They're sort of an off-white ecru color, and actually I can see I've got raspberries on there. You can tell I haven't put these in the wash yet. They're a little bit blown out, but I haven't put them in the wash since last time I wore them. They're gonna need it. They're looking a little bit grubby. But yeah, they wash really well. The denim on them is very thick. I actually think it might be 100% cotton, but because they're a bit wider, and you know, they're a bit wider through the leg, and I feel like they're also wider across the hip, they don't feel like they're too tight or too uncomfortable or like I can't breathe or move in them. I have them in the size 26, and I think they're a really good fit on me. I like the length too, the fact that they are slightly longer as well. I definitely have found that I'm gravitating towards those slightly longer silhouettes when it comes to shorts. I just want a little bit more coverage, especially if you are bending over a lot, which is something I've been doing much more since I've been crawling around on the ground with our son. My most worn skirt of the year is this one from Isabel Marant Etoile. I bought this while I was still pregnant, and I totally took a gamble on the size and feel very lucky that it actually fit me properly. It's a really nice thick cotton canvas, and what I loved about the skirt was the silhouette. I feel like this is a very iconic Isabel Marant silhouette or style for skirts, and it's something she does really well and reimagines every single season. And for this one, I like the fact that it had that more sturdy, robust fabric, and then there was this very pretty little ruffle detail along the hem, which feels very feminine and kind of at odds with the more utilitarian vibe of the other details of the skirt. I wore this a total of 13 times, even more so if you consider the number of times that I wore my ecru version, because I loved it so much that I ended up buying it in another color. Next, we have my most worn jacket, and actually this year was really mild in terms of our winter. I didn't wear a coat very much, if at all, really, because it just was not cold enough to justify it. And I was also indoors a lot. It was kind of around the time that, you know, I had a newborn and we had lockdown, and I didn't really have much reason to go outside except for a short walk. And usually during that time I would get very warm. But towards the tail end of autumn, when I did my capsule wardrobe, I included in it a utility jacket, and that ended up being my most worn jacket of the season. It is from Workshop. I purchased this a good 3 years ago now, I think. Really classic style. Unfortunately, they no longer sell this one. But what I liked about it was that it's unisex. So actually it was a jacket that my husband could wear as well. It's just a nice cotton canvas. There's loads of brands out there that do these sorts of jackets. Mine was on the more premium price point end of the spectrum, but Madewell do a really great one, which I'm going to put a photo of on screen and also pop link down below. I know that Frame did one which looked very, very similar to this as well, which I will link if it's still available because I saw that it was on sale. There's a few other brands too, so I will link options. But yeah, it's just, I mean, a good, great jacket. It goes with everything. I love the olive khaki tone to it. It has really inspired me to add more green to my wardrobe as well, which you may have noticed coming through in more of my spring summer pieces. So yeah, just an item I have been thrilled to get a lot of wear out of. And actually, I think when I said autumn before, I actually meant my spring capsule. Maybe it was my winter one. It was one or the other. Then my most worn knit was actually a cardigan. It was this black woolen cardigan from And Other Stories, which I purchased earlier in the year. This has just been such an easy piece to throw on as an additional layering item. I like that it's 100% wool, so it's completely made of natural fibers. It's not itchy at all. It's worn pretty well. So I do find I usually have to go over it with a wool comb every few wears, but nothing too drastic. Really nice oversized fit, and I have this in the size small. I wore this a total of 35 times since purchasing it. My most worn shoe of the year, I'm very pleased to say, turned out to be my Saint Laurent Nupied slides. I was so thrilled actually when I saw this in the data because it really reinforced the fact that this is a really classic style and a shoe that I'm going to reach for over and over again. And coincidentally, my second most worn sandal after this were my Jane Debster slides, which is essentially a dupe for these. I'll link those down below as well because they are a good alternative if you live in Australia and want to buy something that looks like this but isn't quite as expensive. I've got the patent pair, and I will say even after wearing them a total of 38 times over the year, they do still give me the odd blister if I wear them and walk a lot in them and also walk very fast in them. I'm a little bit of a speed walker, so I do have to keep that in mind when I wear these. I have been actually contemplating purchasing them in another color because I love the silhouette. I love the vintage feel of them, the squared off toe. I just think they're very chic and very classic and something that I'll be able to get years and years of wear out of. I sized up a full size, so I've got them in 41, and I'm glad I did because it gave me additional width across the foot and also just that extra length just in case, which can be something that you might want when you are wearing a shoe that is essentially a slip-on. My most worn closed toe shoe, because I wanted to do both, are my Everlane 40-hour flats. I've got them in black and nude combined. Actually, they may have been my most worn shoe overall. I wore the black ones a total of 29 times, and yeah, they're just a simple pointed toe shoe. I will say I've not been precious with them at all, and I can see that there is all of the scuffing around the toe. I do need to pull the shoe polish out and just give them a little bit of a tidy up. And there's also a lot of creasing across the toes as well, which you might be able to see just because it is quite kind of shadowy today. So probably a good one for showing off that detail. But yeah, I mean, they're just really comfortable. I'm so glad that I got these. These were gifted to me. I have got them in a size 10, and I sized up half a size from my usual Everlane shoe size. I usually wear a US 9.5 in Everlane, which is half a size up from every other brand that I wear. But yeah, that was my other most worn shoe. And then we have my most worn bag, which if you've watched my past two just seasonal most worn videos, then you probably know what it is. It's my Celine Trio in the Dove Grey. I wore this a total of 57 times across the year, which is quite considerable. I just found that it was very practical for me. I like the fact that it has the 3 pouches, so I can separate all of my items and I know exactly where everything is, which is fantastic. Really great if I'm trying to do things one-handed, which is me a lot of the time, baby on one arm, handbag, trying to sort out what I need in the other. But yeah, I think from that perspective, it's fantastic. I have the small size and it's a really great option. You can see it fits. This is an iPhone, is it 11 Pro Max? So it does fit the larger iPhone in it, which is really good. And I have the goat leather, so wears really well. Has some scratches on it because I did buy this pre-loved, but I'm actually glad for that because it's meant that I've not been too precious with it. The other thing with this bag is that you can actually pull these snaps apart so that you can have a pouch if you want, if you're going out, which I think is a convenient option, though I haven't done that with my grey one. I had done it with the lavender blue one that I used to have, which I sold. I had some issues with that bag, but this one, I'm glad I ended up repurchasing it and going for a more practical color. And it has just really, I think, instilled in me in the fact that at that time of my life, this particular style of bag was just not practical. I needed a tote bag. Now a good crossbody bag that just fits the essentials is something that I found that I've utilized a lot more. So just a lesson for me in terms of purchasing bags, not to go for not just how it looks and the function of it, but in addition to that, also how it's going to fit in with my lifestyle, because obviously that is very important. And you would think it would be glaringly obvious, but for me at the time, definitely was not. So yeah, that is a look at my most worn items of 2020. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I'm planning to do a little bit of vlogging this year, as I'm going to have Mondays to myself. So I might share with you my wardrobe wear count Excel sheet, or at least kind of share a little bit of a guide as to how I do that for anyone who wants to replicate it for themselves. It is a manual process, and there are other options out there in terms of apps and that kind of thing that can help you track it a lot more easily. But if you like to do it the old-fashioned way, then Excel is definitely a good way to go. But yeah, that is it from me today. Thank you for watching. Thanks for spending some of your day with me, and I will see you next time with a new one. See you soon. Bye.